I look like an angel.
Yeah, you do.
I kind of am one.
I think it's just the sun.
I don't appreciate that.
So it's cooking.
Nothing.
Good looking. I want to hereby specify that this will be the last. I'm gonna put this challenge out to us. This is gonna be the last week that Q&A Saturday is in this format. Q&A Saturday will be going to fancy pants land with Laura's super fancy camera, better audio, better whole deal. We're taking this baby up several notches.
Taking it uptown.
Uptown. So this will be our last ghetto style Q&A Saturday, which hey, it's got its own charm.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take the charm up to a different place. Can I start the show?
Oh, please.
Okay.
I'll stay quiet this time.
I don't believe it for a second. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog, and this is the lovely Laura Morgan. And welcome to The Good Dog's Q&A Saturday number 21. 21, right? So we're boogieing along. 21. That means we're like
almost
closing in on half a year, right? Where's the time gone?
Where has it gone?
Wow, it's gone to a lot of dogs. A lot of dog work, a lot of dog poop picking up, and to be perfectly honest, a lot of me stepping in dog poop, which is kind of my.
It's kind of his thing.
Kind of my thing. I feel like I've got a little bit of a magnet thing going on.
Definitely a magnet.
I have a collection of shoes on the porch that are all pooped. Waiting. They're pooped. Yeah.
They're cleaned, but then they're getting dry.
Semi-clean. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I think we should get this ball rolling, seeing as the poop talk is probably not going to get us very far. So, you ready to rock?
Ready?
You ready to rock? Let's rock.
Let's week's question of the week was pretty amazing. Can't wait to share those deets.
Pretty awesome stuff. Everybody had some pretty nice stuff to say, right?
We'll share those at the end, so you must wait. Hey, question number 1. This is from Annette Oram.
Hey,
she
Annette.
says, "Hi, Sean and Laura. I posted a question a few weeks ago, which you answered very thoroughly. Thank you.
Oh, we're very thorough, ladies and gents.
And now I have another one. I promise I won't be a pain with constant questions. I already told her. Don't be silly.
Oh,
no.
Oh, I thought you said like
good cop
2 and you're out.
No. My dog attends dog daycare.
Dad issues.
A few days a week. The staff are great with him, and he plays with a select group of dogs that he does well with. Younger females, he doesn't like larger males much.
Yeah.
My question is, when I pick him up from DC, he's kenneled, and I usually go in, I think it's dog daycare. Yeah, he's kenneled, and I usually go in and get him. We are longtime clients, and they allow me to do this. The kennels are lined up on either side of an aisle about 4 feet wide. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when I'm walking him down the aisles, there are other larger dogs in their kennels, and as we walk by, the you-know-what hits the fan.
What?
I would never.
The poopy time.
Yeah, what's on your shoe out there?
That stuff, it's a fan.
Lunging at each other, barking aggressively, you get the idea. I have a prong on my dog and given him corrections, which causes him to escalate before getting a grip.
Uh-oh.
So, can I put an e-collar on him and use that for corrections, or is it too close proximity to the other dogs to do this successfully? Do you have any suggestions on how to handle this? I'm sure it happens when they're taking him in and out for play as well, as it's a common occurrence for dogs that are kenneled that do this. Any help is appreciated, as he has made so much progress, and I would like to stop this if possible. Thanks.
Okay.
Nice.
Annette Oram. Boy, do we have answers for you.
Do we?
Okay, so if you have properly collar conditioned your dog, meaning if you've taught your dog how the e-collar works beyond just putting it on and just correcting him randomly, if you've followed any of our kind of video protocols for like e-collar recall or place or e-collar heel, and you've done some practice with that stuff, then that means that your dog is actually collar conditioned, and that means he understands where the e-collar comes from. He understands that he's in charge of it. He understands that his behavior causes it to come on and off. Excuse me. So the reason why there's all the talk about don't use e-collars in close proximity to other dogs is because if people just put an e-collar on a dog and they don't do any collar conditioning, and then they send a dog out that's dog aggressive and they go to correct for that, then you can oftentimes create a dog fight, things like that. The dog has no idea where that sensation comes from, panics, thinks the other dog's going after him, and then you got really bad stuff. So if you've in fact collar conditioned your dog, which I think she has, because she's already done, it sounds like she's done some work following our stuff, and she's talking about the e-collar, not like it's a novel thing. So that means that most likely you've already done that work, which means you've got this lovely foundation to work with, which means that yes, you can use your e-collar for that situation. So if I was you, I would put the e-collar on, just like you're saying, before, even letting your dog out of that kennel space. E-collar on. And here's the thing, because once your dog starts that walk of shame down the aisle of no doggy return, things are going to escalate like lightning fast. So what I would probably do is the second your dog comes out of the kennel, if you're sensing any arousal, is this airplane going to overtake me?
No, we'll turn it up.
Okay.
You're airplane sensitive.
I am airplane sensitive. I'm always worried it's going to
I know. Like some bomb is going to...
my mojo.
It's like no big deal.
Where was I? Okay, so as soon as you let your dog out of the kennel, if your dog is aroused at all, I don't mean your dog is barking, I don't mean your dog is lunging. Oh, we just lost me because of Laura.
Water.
No, it's just the light.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Just put your hand up.
Hey guys, remember we talked about ghetto, right? This is the last of the ghetto. So here I am holding a sweatshirt up so we can see what's going on, right? Deliver us from ghetto. Okay, so where was I? I was at
use the e-collar, set the tone.
Right. So if your dog is aroused in the least amount, which doesn't mean your dog has to be lunging, doesn't mean your dog has to be barking, doesn't mean your dog has to be growling, it means your dog comes out of the kennel in any peaked aroused state, correct right there and correct firmly. That's your opportunity. You're not going to get many opportunities. At the second you start to move down that aisle, the juice coming from all those dogs is going to boom set your dog off, and your e-collar corrections won't have any value. And if you even have a prayer with it at that point, you'd have to really be high level to get any action. So trick is set the tone. It can be weird for people. They're like, wow, he's not really doing anything. Yes, you're correcting for arousal, and that's your moment. That's your gateway. That's your opportunity to get in and actually set a tone to where you reset your dog's state of mind before you guys take that walk down the aisle. So comes out, e-collar's on, you're ready. He's like this, bang, your dog, and I'm talking about a pretty firm level to where your dog comes down. Then you've got a chance to walk down that aisle. Now that's a challenging situation no matter what, trying to go down, like barking dog lane. But if you use the e-collar like that, and if you've already done some work, and if you practice, hang on a second. If you practice, oops, sorry about that. If you practice,
cut that out.
If you practice this stuff in other contexts, like making sure you're walking your dog in a nice heel, and then he gets really used to doing good work, even among distractions and pressure, then this becomes an easier affair for him to tolerate. But you're probably only going to get one chance when you let him out to really correct, get that state of mind down, and have a successful jaunt down that little doggy lane. So that is my answer to your question.
Yeah. Question 2. This comes from Joanne Treadway.
Joanne Treadway.
She says, hugs, Sean and Laura.
She's been around a lot with us, right?
Yeah, she's the bomb. Another burning tumbleweed question.
She's got those tumbleweeds.
I often dog sit in my home for friends and family. After guest dogs get acquainted with mine, I'll put my dogs in place command while I visit with the owners. Meanwhile, the guest dog is sort of meandering around the room. However, one of my tumbleweeds seems to consider her place as a resource to be guarded. If a guest dog gets near her while in place, she will growl and has on occasion instantly escalated and snapped at the guest dog. The guest dog was not trying to take over the place, just sauntering and saying hi. I try to keep a close eye on the situation. If I see a guest dog approach her, I've been telling my dog no, with a quick zap of the e-collars at the first sign of the reaction, and then gently guide the guest dog elsewhere. A dressage whip is coming this week.
Oh,
Nice.
things are changing.
I
over
am
there.
not sure if my dog is feeling vulnerable or possessive in the place command. I'm leaning towards possessive in this scenario. However, she's a much more fearful dog of my two and needs a way higher e-collar level than the other dog. Should an e-collar be used to correct in this situation? I don't want her thinking the approaching dog is causing the zap. Thanks so much. I can't wait for your e-collar DVD. Yay!
Yeah, me too.
Have fun filming and editing. We want outtakes.
Oh.
Any rough estimate of when it should be orderable?
Not from this guy. I got in trouble last time.
yeah.
I'm not allowed to say a
We're
word.
not allowed to do rough estimates.
Probably May of 2018.
Let's say 2018, and then there's no pressure on us to deliver.
So,
No.
so-
It'll be mid-year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
working. Team's on it. Team's
Yeah.
on it. All right.
Thanks for asking, though.
All right, Joanne, and your tumbleweeds. Your rambling tumbleweeds. Okay, so first of all, I would definitely, if it was my dog in place and another dog was peacefully, quietly, calmly, respectfully walking towards it, and my dog was being possessive or guarding or being snotty or snarky, I would absolutely correct it. Now, some people might have a different opinion and say place is a sacred thing and a dog should not be bothered. And I get that. A dog shouldn't be harassed or anything like that. But if a dog's just meandering around and is being fairly respectful, it's pretty inappropriate for your dog to act in that kind of snarky, nasty fashion. So I certainly wouldn't stand for it. I would correct. I would correct with the e-collar, and I'd correct pretty firmly. So this question kind of goes back to, I think, Annette's question about, can I correct without the dog thinking it's the other dog doing it? So once again, if you've done collar conditioning, and I'm pretty sure that Joanne has,
If
then
your dog's on an e-collar, she corrects for that stuff.
yeah. So you shouldn't have any problem with perception, and I hope I can make that really clear for everybody that the whole reason why we do all the foundation work is so the collar, the dog's condition and is really crystal clear on what the collar means and how it works and how it functions and why it functions, and that they're in charge of it. So once that's set, then you're able to correct, and the dog doesn't go, oh, who was that did this? Was it an act of God? Was it this lady here?
Magoo.
You know? Right? Was it Magoo? Who was it? So you shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, the only thing you do have to be concerned about is that you said you've got kind of it's a nervous dog, a little bit aggressive and snarky like that. So if you correct and the other dog's close, you could lift your dog up to where your dog, boom, actually activates towards the dog. So that would be something I'd want to be cautious of. That'd be something that you'd have to either contemplate tethering, contemplate muzzling, which can be challenging if you haven't done muzzle conditioning, because that can stress the dog out and make reactions even worse. I would probably have my dog on a leash, just letting it lay there, and whenever I saw like a dicey moment, I would very calmly walk over and I would just probably pick the leash up, and I would try not to add any pressure or presence that would affect my dog's decision. I'd try and be very neutral and just hold the leash, and then if I see like any of that, nail him, knock that crap off. No possessive monkey business goes on in my house, whether it's my dogs or client dogs. It's just inappropriate behavior. There's no reason to be possessive. It's not yours, Matt. It's my mat. So I don't want dogs in that state of mind. I think it's indicative of other stuff that's probably not awesome. So go after it. Feel free to use the e-collar. Be conscious of the possibility of a redirect if your dog lifts up too much. So you're going to have to take some measures to make sure that you don't set yourself up for an interaction, especially if your dog elevates and the other dog, who might be peaceful, all of a sudden gets worried about it, and then you get a whole situation where things get interesting. So you're going to have to be creative about the way you manage that situation. I would definitely have, a leash on, something like that, and maybe even a leash dragging on the other dog, so that way you've got real control. But the problem is, if you're holding leashes and acting like you're managing the situation, a lot of times the dogs won't do anything. So you have to be very neutral about it. Kind of just do. You can use maybe a long line, something like that, so you can be a little further away, and then go from there. So, but correct it. E-collar is cool. You've done the work conditioning it, so green light.
You should also teach your guests' dogs place command on prong collar and just put them in place. I'm sure your guests would appreciate that. You could be a little dog trainer in your own right. It'd be awesome. You're like, place all the dogs in place, and you guys get to hang out and just have human time. Because dogs that are wandering, a lot of the time they're if there's nervous stuff going on, they're wandering. Unless they're like totally stable dogs, it's best, like, why not use it as a training moment?
Yep.
So it could be kind of fun for you.
Yeah, and your dog, as much as I don't like the snarky stuff, it's a challenging situation to bring novel dogs in,
Yeah.
dogs your dog doesn't have a lot of familiarity with, and your dog is in a position of being kind of locked down, and the other dog has freedom. So yes, you might be having a possessive thing, you might be having a nervous thing, you can have them simultaneously going on. So it's a challenging one without me seeing it, but I would definitely correct, but I'd also be looking to advocate, like Laura's saying, and making sure there's not too much looseness of other dogs wandering around like that.
Yeah.
Because
For everyone's sake.
Yeah, for everyone's sake, but also for your nervous dog too. So I'd say like a multi-pronged, is that how they say it?
Multi-pronged approach.
Multi-pronged attack. So yes,
Cool.
that's it. Moving
All right.
on.
Okay, question 3. This is from David Pearl. We know
David.
David.
Oh, buddy, David, dog walker. He's in Venice, right? He works with Melia.
Yep, he's awesome. Yeah.
Nice, sweet guy, and got good dog skills,
Yeah.
and just always a good dude. Always rooting for him.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, I walk a dog that's highly anxious. When I enter the house to take her for her daily walk, she starts to howl and bark nonstop. She always chills out once we start to exit outside, but my goal is to have her in a calm, relaxed, and receptive state of mind before leaving the house. Her anxiety is partly caused by lack of strong leadership by her owner, who openly admits she's unwilling to do anything about it, unfortunately. Nevertheless, I take this as a new challenge, or a challenge to do my best and learn new skills. As always, I'd like to express my gratitude to you for teaching me so much and making me a better person and dog walker. You are great role models, which I'm super appreciative of. Aw, David.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Awesome guy.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Okay, David. Well. So this is an interesting one, and this is one of the things we teach. When we teach with T3 students, and you have to be careful. Okay, a couple things. You have to be careful about being more committed to the situation than the owner is, right? So it's good to challenge yourself. It's good to say, how good can I make this situation? But it's also really important to check in with the fact that you don't put your skill set in some kind of a judgment space based on a lifestyle that's going on 23/7 with the dog, besides the hour that the dog's out with you, right? So trying to affect change in a dog that lives a certain way for 23 hours of the day, except for the time that it's with you, is an incredibly tall order. So I'd be really conscious about not putting too much pressure on yourself to try and make magic happen with a dog that lives in probably a very toxic state with no structure, no rules, no guidance, none of the stuff necessary for a dog to be calm. And then you walk in and you're looking to achieve a certain result, but the dog has had no foundation work to help the dog live in that space. Right. The dog lives somewhere else constantly, emotionally. So that's a really challenging one. Of course, you can be patient, you can take your time, you can do exercises where, you move away from the crate until that, every time the dog barks or makes noise, and you stand off and you can wait, and you can do that kind of stuff. But oftentimes, if the damage being done daily, lifestyle-wise, is enough, it'll really counteract anything you do. I mean, there's a lot of dogs you can stand there for 18 hours. And I know running a business, doing dog walking, you don't have 18 hours to stand with each dog to try and wait for them to be calm. So basically, because the owner isn't willing to do their work, you are being tasked, or you're tasking yourself with doing their job and then trying to stuff a lifetime of lifestyle dog training into an hour. And that's what I want to say, not to be negative, but it's virtually impossible. Yeah. And I think it's so much pressure to put on yourself that I think it's an unfair position to put yourself in. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to...
to make it enough for you just to have a pleasant time. There's only so much you can do if there's nothing else being done. I wonder if there's a way for it just to make it so it's a pleasurable thing for you, but then just don't worry about the rest of the time, you know?
Well, I mean, and David says that the dog's good once it gets out of the house. So I know David really aspires to doing things really at a high level.
Yeah.
And as do I. And I remember when I was doing dog walking primarily, a lot of dogs, I was in that situation. I'd walk in and it's chaos. And so what you're trying to do is transfer the dog from chaos to being calm and chilled out and relaxed. And you're getting that on the walk. But there's a transitional period, and it doesn't matter how good of a handler you are. It doesn't matter how well trained or equipped you are or gifted you are. You can't make magic happen with a state of mind that's struggling and then magically make it go away like that. It takes time. That's why training is all about consistency and lifestyle and things like that. So I would oftentimes have dogs that, like, the owner would hand me the dog and the dog's like, blah, and a mess. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then within 2 minutes, then the dog's great. But I didn't set the expectation of, I've got to make this dog great from the moment I'm interacting. I just think that that's an unfair expectation to put on yourself.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing awesome work. And the last thing I wanted to say is that your care level, just your level of caring about the job you do, is pervasive. I've seen it every time I've worked with you and talked with you.
Yeah.
That tells me that it guarantees me that you're doing great work. It guarantees me you're doing your best work. You're always striving. You're always reaching. So I would, my advice would be to take a little heat off yourself, continue to do the great work you do, but also be realistic in understanding the realities of an animal that lives for the majority of its life in a certain situation, not being able to switch gears immediately just because a new handler comes on.
Yep.
And if you're getting great results on the walk, then that's fantastic, and I would give yourself
Just
a break right there.
do that, yeah. David.
Cool. Thanks, David.
The best. All right. This isn't a question, but this is an update from Heather Sears. She says, "Hi guys, I don't really have a question today, but wanted to give you an
But your
update."
washer and dryer are on the way and will be delivered momentarily.
In the mail.
Heather, you are a stand-up lady.
We have had our e-collar for about a week now, and I've noticed some major changes. Izzy is following commands more and is less likely to break them. I had an issue with her just staring at me whenever I asked her to do anything and flat out refused things on the pinch collar.
What?
Not with the e-collar. She is also leaving the cat alone now, which is another major battle for us. I'm so happy now. I haven't got to try it outside yet due to the bitter cold temps here the last few weeks, but can't wait to start off-leash training. Thanks again, guys, for everything. You really saved our lives. Hubby really wanted to take her back if we couldn't figure her out, and with your help, our family can now bond. Love you guys and can't wait for the DVD. Best wishes.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Keeping
awesome.
dogs in the home?
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Nice work, Heather.
That's teamwork, right? Teamwork from us and to you, and
Yep.
just super awesome.
Yeah, we simply could. No one can do that stuff alone. That's crazy cool. Yeah, nice work, Heather. Really proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, question 4.
Yes.
This is from David J. Hi, Sean and
David.
Laura. Here's a quick one. I had to take out. You like?
Doesn't hurt my brain so much.
I had to take out 4 lengths of my Hermsprenger 3mm, so it fits a husky I'm dealing with currently. At what number of taken out links will it get less effective? Should I go to a 2.25mm instead?
This is a high-tech question.
Yeah.
We usually don't get into millimeters and such.
Oh, you set it
Look
up here.
what I've got here. Wow,
Look at you.
Okay. I was going to call him... it is David. I was going to say David, but I was thinking couldn't be, but it is 2 Davids in a row. All right, David. Here we have the 3.0. And this is for everybody else too, right? You even got a little taggy poo on it. So what I've done is I've taken out 4 links, just like you said, which leaves us, if you've got one of these modern Hermsprengers, right? It leaves us, let's see if I can do this, right? It leaves us this center plate, links here, here, here. And so basically this is how much we've got on, let me see if I can do this right. This is how much we've got on the dog, right? I'm trying to make sure that the light is like clear for you guys. There we go. It's a little bit better. Can I have your hands for a second? I'm sorry. Both hands, just real quick. Doggy, right? Okay. So you can see, even with taking 4 links out, and just to spread them just a little bit. There we go. So it's a pretty good amount of prong coverage for for having that many links removed. You can remove your head. Thank you. But I wouldn't go less than that, right? So taking 4 out is about where I would end that at. Once you start going from there, and even if you just took out 1 more, it starts to get pretty dodgy. So I really think that you're right at the end where I think it can still be very effective. So I would hang with what you've got. I would stay with the 3.0 with the 4 links gone. That should provide you plenty of contact. And I actually prefer the 3.0. I only use the 2.25s for finished dogs that go home on e-collar for the walks, because we don't need a lot. I'm not a big fan of the 2.25, and I know a lot of folks love it, so I might just be weird. But the way they engage with the dog and the response,
especially like a husky.
Yeah, a stronger, bigger dog. I'm sure the husky's kind of thin. But the response that you tend to get from the 2.25, from my perspective, I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
I always feel give. I feel that the pops aren't crisp and there's give, and not with the 3.0. So, of course, there can be challenges if you have a dog right in between. But I think you're good. I think if that 4 links being gone is giving you a nice snug fit, I think you're probably in pretty good standing with the Herm Springer crowd. So I'd go with that. And then if you find that, like, for whatever reason that it's not working, you can always adjust. You could always go to a 2.25 and try it like that. But I think husky, longer fur, 2.25, shorter links. I think you'd be better served with the 3.0. So that is my answer, and I feel very proud of myself that I actually came with props.
Prepared.
Right?
Good guy.
Props to me.
Okay. Question number 5. This is from Andrea Wilson. Hi, Sean and Laura. Thank you for your generosity in helping dog owners all over the world. Aww. I have a question. Can I ever expect Lucy to completely stop targeting other dogs? Her main targets are out-of-control dogs, puppies, and yellow labs. She was attacked by a yellow lab 2 years ago and has never forgotten. Although sometimes she just doesn't like another dog for some reason that's not obvious to me. She has no problem with any of the dogs at Flyball or at e-collar obedience class, and has dog friends that we meet on our walks. From your videos and Q&As, I learned to spot the nanosecond she changes her demeanor with her ears forward, etc. And I also learned to correct her at a much higher level on the Dogtra IQ than I never would have thought to use. 80 was apparently the magic number. Apparently
IQ's a soft collar, just so you know.
Yeah. I'd been nagging her before that. What a change in behavior when she realized I meant business. It's been a couple weeks now since I got the correction level right, and our walks have vastly improved. The only thing is, if I misjudge how much distance she needs, or a dog she doesn't like manages to get too close, she'll still react. Her reaction is milder and takes longer to react, so her fuse is longer now, but I'm not sure what to expect. Will this completely go away, or could heavy pressure always cause her to react? Thank you for any help or advice you might be able to share.
Okay, so should I jump into this?
Jump in.
I was just provoking you, just being annoying.
No, I'm not provoked.
No,
I remain unprovoked.
This is how I used to be when I was, the ADD kid in school.
That's how you used to be.
No,
I'm just asking.
Stings a little bit. Yeah, no, she's just asking. Yes, everybody, the disrespect is flowing. Okay, I'm going to push through. Andrea, so it's a really, really good question. I don't know if anybody can answer conclusively or absolutely one way or the other and say definitely that your dog, can be completely all better and have no reactivity. It's really hard to say. But what I have found is that people that are incredibly determined and that really do their work and just stick with it, like dogged determination, no pun intended, or maybe a little bit, you can get, if not completely fixed, you can get some massive, massive improvements going on. Like I use my guy Oakley as an example. One of the most reactive dogs that I've worked with was my own guy back in the day. And I'm talking about a beast, a 90-pound pit, Rhodesian, who knows what mix. and the full spinning round, biting the leash, like back legs. I mean, it was bad news. And I didn't have an e-collar or anything. I just went out there every day and worked on it. Every day worked on it. Every day worked on it. And I was really determined. And I don't know the timeline, but it took some time. But eventually, I mean, he would sit there and some snotty dogs would walk by him. And he'd just be like, uh-huh, I've seen that a lot of times. So a lot of this is just determination and just being resilient and resolute and just going out day after day after day after day. And I think a really important thing to check in with might even be to keep a little journal, and because the progress can be really incremental, and you can feel like you're not making any progress until you check back in and you go, man, 3 months ago we were still having problems with this and now we're not seeing that. So I would do a little bit of just like some doggy notes, like keep a little journal weekly even. This week was, we're able to walk past Jojo, the yellow lab, whatever, this week, we were able to get this much closer, or we went backwards a little bit. But just watch it over kind of a more comprehensive timeline and see where you're getting. It's very, 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 very rare that people that are really determined, that are using the right tools and the right strategies and are going out every day to kick butt, don't keep making progress. It's just, you would have to have that 1%er dog. Yeah. And even the 1%er dogs get better. Yeah. I mean, they just do. So I can't tell you how long it will take, and I can't tell you if it'll be perfect. But I can tell you it should continue to get better. But we're talking about months. We're not talking about, you can see in weeks some pretty amazing stuff, but if you're talking about like the fine tuning where you don't have to be like on your dog the whole time and they're starting to really do the work themselves, you're probably talking about a handful of months to make that happen. Anything to add to that?
No, I mean, it's just going to be, I like the journal idea, and it's just chipping away and learning new things and learning what space works and what situations. But the other thing to remember is how much progress you've made just up until now. Yeah. And be like, okay, let's ride out this exciting part too. Yeah. So riding that out a little bit and just staying proud of that. And then, always the first, it's like when you're like on a weight loss plan, I guess, like when at the beginning, people will lose like, speaking of weight loss plan, at the beginning you'll lose like 10 pounds of water weight or something, and then it starts being like a pound a week, and then you're like, oh, what's happening? I'm not losing. It's like, no, the first start was really a big feat, and then now it's kind of more of a gradual thing. So I just check in with the gradual part and just see this as kind of a journey, and be really excited about what you've done so far.
Yeah. Celebrate the goodness that's cooking right now. And it's just work. Yeah. It's work, like anything else good in this world. It takes continuous butt kicking to make good stuff happen. So go out there, celebrate what you got, and keep a little journal of how it's going. And I think you'll realize, hey, we're getting somewhere. Yeah. All right?
Cool.
Thanks.
Okay, question 6. This is from Shelly Smyrda.
Shelly Smyrda.
My dog...
I once knew a Shelly Smyrda.
Oh.
I did. Yeah.
Did you?
Yep, junior high.
That's a unique name. You might still know her. This might be her.
Could be. Except I'm lying.
Oh. Shelly.
Sorry.
Anyway, my dog is very reactive and redirects with a bite to me. Ooh, I have been to numerous trainers, both positive and balanced. I've used every harness, head harness, prong collar, etc. Yeah. His last 3-week day training with a balanced trainer who really I've been following for years. I think that was a mistake. He said he didn't react one bit the whole time. I get home
I think she said there's a balance trainer she's been following that she likes.
Yeah, that she likes and she worked with him. Yeah. He said he was great, and then I get him home and he's back to a reactive nightmare. I worked with him every day. He knows and happily does tons of commands and tricks, but he sees in the dog, squirrel, bird, rabbit, and it's on. Money's running out for more professional training for now. Taking him anywhere, going out for walks is like holding a time bomb. Every corner you turn, is there going to be something that sets him off? Treats and squeaky toys don't distract him from anything.
So you've tried a bunch of stuff. It sounds like you work with a bunch of trainers. You said head harnesses, different collars, things like that. But you haven't mentioned an e-collar. And so anytime we've got heavy reactivity stuff, it's always an e-collar it's always an e-collar that we go to. So if you haven't tried that, which it doesn't sound like she didn't mention anything about it.
Nope.
If you haven't tried an e-collar, then that's absolutely the next place I would go to. I'm sorry money's running out. I'm sorry you've tried a bunch of different things that haven't really worked for you. But when it comes to reactivity issues, de-escalating, controlling, empowering owners, helping with timing, balancing out energy issues between owner and dog, there's really no better tool for it. And so if you haven't tried it, that's really good news, because it means there's something really valuable out there that's super effective that you haven't delved into yet. And the other part of this is that I would ask the trainer to see if she's doing day training, see if that trainer could come to your place and actually show you how they're getting the same results or how they're getting the results that they're getting. So they may be having different stuff in their neighborhood. Their neighborhood may be more neutral.
Yeah.
You may be getting more territorial, more bad habits, more grudge stuff with dogs in your neighborhood, and the trainer may not be getting that stuff. But either way, the magic isn't that the trainer gets good results. That's kind of expected. The magic is that the trainer gets you, and this is no diss against the trainer, but the magic is that the trainer gets you to get the same results. And that's really the goal of all this stuff. The trainer should be able to go out and kick butt. It's how do we get you to get the same thing? So, and like I said, no diss against the trainer. That you guys might just not have had the situation set up to be able to activate that yet, but I would try and put that in place. I would try and get that trainer over to help you, because it could be some simple stuff. Maybe your timing's a little bit off. Maybe you're missing some signs. Maybe you're not using enough space. Maybe who knows what it is, but find out, because if the trainer can make it happen in your neighborhood, and then you can replicate that, then maybe there's a problem solved. My suspicion is you're probably having like neighborhood-centric issues, and you probably need more leverage. You probably need a better tool to be able to communicate and leverage your power with your dog. And if you haven't done an e-collar, that is the place to go. We don't even dilly-dally around with reactive dogs on prong and leash. If they're serious, it's straight to e-collar, because nothing will give you better results at de-escalating a reactive dog than an e-collar will, trained properly, not just putting it on and blasting the dog. Of course, there's plenty of videos you can watch. You could watch our e-collar heel with Fusa, the German Shepherd. A lot of people have used that video, even people in this Q&A that have talked about, or in some part of one of the Facebook questions today, about using that video to really help them. So there's resources out there if you need to do it on the kind of on the cheap. Just buy an e-collar and start doing that work. There's plenty of our videos that can really show you step by step how to go through that process of dealing with the reactivity. We've also addressed it a million times in Q&A Saturday. So there's a lot of information for that. But like I said, if you haven't done the e-collar, it's good news, because a lot of those tools, they're not going to get you what you want if you got serious reactivity. It sounds like your dog is like pretty juiced up, pretty prey driven, and not living in a calm, relaxed state, especially on the walk.
And there's also the whole thing that it's not just about the tools. We've also got a whole strategy in place that needs to happen. So the trainer, I assume, gave you like a strategy of like how you're supposed to live with your dog and how you're supposed to live beyond the walk.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, so when we're dealing with dogs that have major walk stuff, we're not just taking them out on the walk and hoping that they're, get them over the reactivity hump and then bring them back in. And we're like, man, they're great. There's so much more involved in that. There's so much more structure and rules and holding, if he's still reacting and giving you that much trouble on the walk, he should be locked down inside the house. There should be no affection. There should be absolute structure, then no free time, no wandering, at least until you're getting a better thing. So I don't know how much, you could get on the e-collar and not do that, and you're still going to struggle. So let's if you can look at our free videos, get an e-collar, do those things, and then also read up on how we lock down dogs that have serious stuff and how we do it here. That would be probably your best bet, barring sending him here.
Yeah, I think what Laura just said is really, really, really important. Obviously, what I'm saying is
also really, really important.
Well, it's addressing that specific thing, but Laura's really right on the money that we do a much more comprehensive, holistic approach, and you'll be amazed at how many different moments in your lifestyle you're living day to day with your dog affect state of mind and the choices that your dog will make in a million different contexts.
Yeah.
So they don't live in different worlds, the walk and the interior world. They're connected. So you really need to nail that down. If you're just trying to nail the walk, if your trainer is only working on that, then you need a more comprehensive approach, and it might be time to dive into some materials that can give you a more comprehensive approach interior-wise with your dog, like Laura's saying. Place command, lock down, bust. It's time to bust some butts and get your dog into a good space. So that would be the answer to your question.
Good luck. Let us know.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing your cookie.
I don't think I had a choice.
You didn't have a choice. Okay.
I think it was just appropriated.
It was taken. All right. Question number 7.
Yeah.
This is from Cheryl Lambert, possibly Adam Lambert's mom or sister. Adam Lambert won American Idol 2010.
Do we have another celebrity
I think we do.
relation?
Cheryl, let us know about concert tickets.
We could use some tickets. We don't get out much.
All right. Cheryl says, how to stop my puppy golden retriever going nuts with uncontrollable begging every time I sit down to eat something. This one is perfect for Sean because he knows nothing about this except for it to be absolutely untrue in this household.
Wow.
Brittany's dying. And our shadow student Cameron's over there dying. Just because they know how right I am about what I just said. Sean, why don't you take this question away? I'm sure you have tons of notes. Tons of notes. Why don't you take it away?
I said refer to Laura.
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about something real quick. Let's talk about a 15-plus-year-old dog who is just about deaf, losing his vision, can barely walk,
Yeah, he's
struggling with some senility,
Yeah. He's definitely
is on prednisone, which is causing his behavior to be exacerbated.
Yeah, that's when it started.
And so this special sweet soul that's
He just walked up to get your cookie.
that's challenged every day to get through this world
OMG.
and breathe another day of life. The prednisone really has taken effect.
Yeah, but
that's a different story.
3 days old.
What's that?
Never mind, just go.
Okay. So obviously Laura's got an axe to grind, and we'll work this out when we turn the video off. We may see a new co-host when we start next week's Q&A Saturday.
Yeah, for Brittany.
So
she agrees.
She'll be more polite about it.
That's probably true.
So, anyways, let's get on to the lady's question.
Oh wait, Junior would like some of your cookie. Can we just? Who's the bad guy now?
He
Oh, hey,
sees eye,
Junior.
he can barely see, doesn't know where he's at.
He doesn't know where he's at.
Get out of here, buddy.
Look how good he is at getting out of there. Why don't you tell him to get out of here? Again.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's a trained boy.
There we go. Anytime you want to do a little walk-off down the street between Junior and Hercules, you just set it up, and I'm happy to meet you on any street corner you wish.
Hercules is perfect on the walks. No issues.
I have to wear earplugs when we're on walks with him because the whining is so loud. So, Puppy Golden, I would train your dog place, right? I don't know how old your puppy is. Some people, a puppy is like, he's 9 months old. So, I'll train him on place. If he's really young, you can use, martingale, a little slip lead, something like that. And do the work. Do the work to get him trained to place prior to you sitting down to eat. When you're frustrated and annoyed and distracted, get him good at it. And then tether him there when you're eating. And if he breaks, no, with a verbal, walk over, correct, put him back. That way he never gets the victory of closing the distance and sniffing your cookies or anything like that. And then you slowly just pattern it. And when he gets old enough, if he's not already old enough, then you put him on a prong collar, and then you can actually really train him effectively and prove him really through that exercise. And you won't need tethering anymore. But the tethering just helps make sure that he doesn't close the distance and that he doesn't get the victory.
Place command is really where it's at. You know, with my perfect specimen dog, he'll do that too. At night, if I'm sitting on the couch and like eating dinner or something, he'll come and sit and just stare. And it's not begging per se. It's not like coming up, but it's like staring with
Pressure.
like a weird pressure. Yeah. And so I go put him on place command, and then I will correct him if he stares from place command. So, yeah, it's weird. It's awful.
It's uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to hurry up and finish this. It's like annoying me.
You could get him like some blinders or something, some dark
glasses.
sunglasses.
Cute.
Yeah, so that's what I'd go with. And I think from what it sounds like your puppy might be a little bit...
There might be other loose ends.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a loose cannon just in puppy land, and the place command will be really nice just to kind of chill him out in general and relax him. So
Just make sure that when you put him in place or put him in a down, that he doesn't get up without you releasing him. Okay, that's one. Question number 8 is from Fagella from Instagram.
uh-huh.
And this is actually someone who came and worked with us the other day, or worked with Brittany. So he says, "Hey, Sean and Laura, so great to meet you both the other week. Zero is making such fantastic improvements already thanks to Brittany.
Yay.
Zero sends his regards to her pant leg."
Didn't Zero hump her? Repeatedly?
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your thoughts.
Semi-maniacal fashion.
Britt, Zero sends his regards to your pant leg. Yeah. I wanted to get your thoughts on breed-specific behaviors in your training. I'm asking on behalf of some folks trying to work with their Mastiff mix. He's always been protective and a bit territorial, but this has ramped way up with the addition of a new baby who he is extremely attached to. They're wondering how much, if any, protective Mastiff-type behaviors they can allow, as they do like some aspects. I'm wondering if your training protocols are the same for every dog, or if there's ways to incorporate and fulfill these strong genetic instincts in a way that can still create a well-mannered, deferential dog. Thanks again, and so looking forward to e-collar DVDs. Yay!
Me too. Okay. So it's... How do you say it?
Fagella. Fagella.
Okay. That's a really good question. We've had plenty of Mastiffs, plenty of guardian protective breeds, whether it's Shepherds, Dobies, Mastiffs. A lot of them get into trouble because they're predisposed to being territorial and guarding and protective. And if you don't put the kibosh on that, if you don't manage it, if you don't provide strong structure, if you don't do the job of protecting and you really leave that up to your dog, what typically happens is that stuff exacerbates and gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
And it tends to just go to a nasty place. So we've had plenty of Mastiffs that come through that are hyper, territorial, guarding, things like that they're predisposed to, and there's genetic stuff there to cause them to be doing that stuff. The problem is that we've got them living in, polite domestic society for the most part. And what happens when this dog that you want to be protective is making bad choices about who he's assessing needs to be protected against, and ends up biting the mailman or the neighbor, and that's exactly what we've seen several times. So I really think that I would prefer your friend not to put the pressure on your dog to be the protector. I would say the pressure should should be on the family to do that, and the dog is going to do what the dog's going to do. The dog's going to bark and alert, and the dog's going to do natural dog behaviors. You're never going to get that gone out of them, but I certainly wouldn't encourage it, and I certainly wouldn't allow it. So to kind of more broadly answer your question, Yes, I train those guys just like any other dog. Same exact rules, same accountability, same limits for what they're allowed to do. Bark at the front door, good. Now you're done. Now go lay down. Don't be excessive. Don't be excessive at the gate. Don't be excessive at the fence. None of that stuff. So I think there might be some trainers that disagree with that feel like these guys are bred for this and you should allow this stuff. I think you're really treading on some dangerous, is it dangerous waters?
Thin ice or swimming in dangerous waters.
Is it? I don't know. I think we're lost on that one. But the fact of the matter is I see it happen a lot, and I see shepherds and I see all these other dogs getting into trouble because their genetics have not been given enough structure about how to channel it. Mm-hmm. And so they make bad choices and they end up biting somebody they're not supposed to bite because they haven't been given enough direction. So I would heavily, heavily, heavily recommend that you guys, or that you suggest to your friend that they treat them like very much like a regular dog and start to inhibit some of that more territorial guardian stuff. I think it's really a really dangerous and slippery slope for them to get into.
Yep. Cool.
Serious stuff, guys. Yeah. Really serious.
Okay. This is question number 9. This is from Instagram. The handle is Bentley and Me. Question. Mm-hmm. My male English Mastiff Great Dane mix is 2 years old and neutered, but doesn't get along with other dogs except the 2 female pits he lives with. Mm-hmm. He doesn't run up and attack the other dogs, but if another dog comes up to him, he snaps at them. I want to be able to take him around other dogs, but he doesn't get along, and due to his huge size, I'm scared he might get in a fight I can't break up. I just want to know how to get him along with other dogs.
Bentley and Me? Mm-hmm. Mastiff Dane mix?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's a beast.
Saddle that baby up. First of all, I don't do like unstructured socialization stuff. I don't recommend dog parks. I don't do that kind of stuff. I think it's a big setup. I think it's a great way for solid dogs to get into a place of learning to not trust other dogs. A lot of dogs get bullied there. A lot of dogs learn to bully there. You've got unsupervised, tons of dogs that are unsupervised, owners that are not doing their job to advocate or supervise their dog's behavior, anything like that. I think it's a bit of the Wild West for dogs, and I think we put a lot of pressure on dogs that aren't perfect social butterflies to go into that situation and thrive. So, first of all, I don't do that kind of stuff. If you've got, play dates, if you've got friends with dogs that are really solid and you know that your dog feels comfortable with, or that could slowly develop a comfort level with, then that's cool. But you also have to honor the individuality of your dog. Your dog may not be a dog that's a social butterfly. Your dog may be a very selective dog about who he wants to spend time with. And he might be a slow warmer, which means he might be a dog that takes a long time to feel trusting and comfortable with other dogs. So putting him in situations where he has to develop trust quickly with the dog closing distance on him is just a recipe for him to fail. So if you are doing dog park stuff, I don't think he's a good dog for dog park stuff. I like I said, I don't think most dogs are good dogs for dog park stuff. But if he's already showing issues like this, I definitely think that you're putting him in high pressure situations. And the age that he's at is when you start to see all this stuff come to the fore. A lot of times you'll see dogs when they're younger puppies or younger adolescents, they'll be able to tolerate monkey business from other dogs. But as they start to get older and mature, you'll start to see them set firmer boundaries and be less, let's get that off there, and be less tolerant of other dogs' monkey business. They really start to set, firmer lines in the sand. So I would highly recommend that you don't do that situation. It's such an easy one for people to fall into because we have this thing of we want our dogs to be social. Yeah. We want our dogs to have friends. We want our dogs to go play and do all these things. But we can also forget that the individual dog may not enjoy the same thing that our doggy daydream thinks that they will enjoy or should enjoy, and that he should find a way to be social. Are there things you can do? Yes. especially if you work with a talented trainer and they can get out and they can help really cultivate some stuff and first of all be able to discern what's going down in the social situations, making sure that your dog is well behaved, making sure that other dogs coming around him are super respectful and not plowing into him and not creating too much pressure too quickly for him to deal with it. And then for a trainer to help you ascertain, okay, this dog needs to be corrected because he's coming in too fast and too impolite, or this dog is coming in very nice, but your dog is being way too sensitive and disrespectful and setting inappropriate boundaries, and I'm going to correct for that. But that's stuff that's pretty advanced work, and if you don't have somebody really good at it helping you, you've got a really good chance of getting into a dog fight, because basically you're saying, I've got this big giant dog who's sensitive and doesn't like a lot of other dogs. I want him to be around a lot of other dogs, and I'm going to put him in those situations, and then you're going to try and hold on and hope that you can make something good happen. I think that's a bad setup. With some seriously expert guided help, you could definitely make some progress, but I think doing it on your own is a pretty challenging endeavor. So I think you got a couple things to think about. One is, does your dog really enjoy the things that you want him to enjoy? Are you honoring who he is? And then secondly, does he need to make progress in his attitude and in his behavior and in his acceptance of other dogs? Maybe he does need a bit of an adjustment with that. Maybe he's just being kind of a wiener about things, and so maybe he needs some help with that. But that could be a very challenging thing for you to do on your own without with such a big dog, without e-collar work and that kind of stuff. In that situation, I would want to be working with a dog who's fully e-collar trained, where I can call him away from bad situations, and I can also correct him subtly or more strongly for poor choices around other dogs. Without it, what are you going to do? You're going to yell, you're going to do a shake can, you're going to have him on a long line and try and pull him away. Most of those things are not going to be super effective and can actually cause things to get dicey and funky. So this one's kind of going long, but I just don't think you should put your dog in a situation that is a crappy situation where he feels like he's needing to defend himself, unless you feel like he's being a real wiener and then he needs to work on some stuff. Even then, it's a dicey one. So I'm trying to find a perfect answer for you, but there really isn't one. And without me seeing your dog and your interactions, it's hard to give you a perfect answer. Yeah. So, but be really careful. That age is really when things start to go to where they can really start to get funky, and you can start to get serious fights and things like that. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, just like advocating for his space. Like I think you said, if it is him setting appropriate boundaries and the other dogs are getting in his space, and you can allow that to happen, but we don't need to push him into anything that is uncomfortable, and we don't want to let him do that if it's not appropriate, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Cool.
Tough one. But once again, socialization without dogs that you're rock solid, amazingly solid with. That's why we can use our pack, because I know exactly what they're going to do, and I know that they're never going to escalate if one of the other dogs escalates.
Yeah.
That's the magic. But working with dogs that you're not intimately familiar with is a real dicey proposition when you're trying to modify behavior with your own dog. All right. Thanks.
Okay, question 10. This is from Casey Naklik. Naklik.
Don't mess it up.
I'm going to, because now the pressure's on. She says, before I get to my question, I'd like to commend Laura for pronouncing my name correctly last time you guys answered my question. Most people can't get it right. Good job. Naklik. 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 I think it's Naklik.
I think it is too.
Okay. I got you, Casey. All right. I hope it's that. On to my question. I'm a groomer, and I have a client that brings in her 3 pugs every month for grooming. The problem is with the 2 female dogs. When I leash them up to go home, they get worked up and attack each other. I've been bitten breaking them up in the past, and they are serious about hurting each other. I do my best to not take them out of their kennels until they're calm, but it's sometimes very difficult for me to take the extra time if I have a busy day and need to get back to work. Any thoughts on what I can do with this situation? I've been handing them back separately, but I know this isn't doing anything to solve the problem. They come in on harnesses, but I use slip leads to walk them out and hand them to the owner. I know it's not an ideal situation because the dogs aren't mine, but the owner says this is sometimes a problem at home as well. I mostly just want to do what I can to protect myself, the dogs, and not exacerbate the problem.
Those are some good rips.
Aren't they good?
Wow. Really sweet and sour.
Sour ones.
As promised. Okay. So Casey, Naklik. I want to get on that reward train. So this is another question similar to some of the other ones we've had today about people working with dogs in small moments comparatively to the dog's overall lifestyle. And then, because you want to do good work and you want to improve the dog situation and you want to add more value to the owners, you're hoping to do some great stuff and make some magic happen. But the reality is this owner is bringing in 3 pugs on harnesses, and I can only imagine what that means as far as what home lifestyle looks like. So those are the worst tools you could be having on 3 out-of-control dogs on a walk, which tends to make me think that inside the house there's probably chaos and just tomfoolery going on, and a lot of barky reactivity stuff without any rules, and so the dogs are just kind of making things up as they go. So I think, to be perfectly honest, it's one of those losing situations where you can't make magic happen, and you're not even like a dog walker that's seeing the dog every day. You're seeing the dog probably every couple of weeks or so for grooming. I think that's an incredibly tall order for you to try and be affecting change in those dogs. This is a comprehensive lifestyle issue. The owner needs to, if the owner wants something done, guess what? If somebody wants their kids better, they have to raise their kids better. You can't send them out to a school counselor once a month and have the kids be better and do well.
I think her main thing is just trying to keep herself safe.
I get it, but I want to make sure, but I also hear her feeling a pressure to do some stuff. So I just want to address that first. And then as far as keeping yourself safe, the one thing, whenever I would be dealing with dogs, like in dog walking situations, I never did grooming really, was setting the tone. So you are able to set a very clear, different tone with these dogs individually than when they're with their owner. And so as soon as they're in your care, you let them know it's the monkey business time. It's toast. It's done. You can use a pet convincer. If your business will allow you to use that, which is just compressed air, you can use that to shut it down. Like you said, you're using a slip lead. You can have some better success than harnesses with that, but full intention of no messing around, and I'd use stronger language if this wasn't G-rated, but really the intent behind it, and there's a lot of different ways to interact with dogs that are effective to create state of mind change, but that's not an easy task, and it's something for people doing training and behavior mod and not people grooming unless they really pursue that endeavor to be really qualified so you don't get yourself hurt. So what I'm trying to say is that I would set a significant tone of no monkey business. I would try and make sure that you mentioned one of the problems was you're in a rush and taking your time isn't always easy. Man, getting bitten isn't always easy and probably takes a lot more out of your time.
I honestly think your own solution of bringing them out separately, and that's been doing okay, is fine. Because you said you brought them out separately and that works, but it's not really helping it's not doing anything to solve the problem. But you're not really there to solve that problem, So taking them out separately keeps you safe. You don't need to get them calm inside the crates and stuff. If they come out calm one at a time, just do that. Keep yourself safe. The owner sounds, for the owner, just the thing that you said, the owner says there's sometimes a problem at home as well. That's a very casual way to address dogs,
Especially if the dogs are biting you. It's a casual way to approach. That's not taking a lot of responsibility.
It happens at home too.
Right.
So just, take your time, and take your time and take them out one at a time, and if you need to charge for hazard pay, do it. It's not your responsibility to see them once a month and have to be in that position
of fixing their dogs.
Yeah.
So like Laura said, whatever you have to do to be safe, but the individual, taking the dog individually and with each individual dog setting a tone of don't mess around will help that when you do finally hand all those dogs to the owner, the dogs will be in a safer gear.
Yeah.
Whether they will fight or not, who knows? I can't say. But if you want to create some leverage for a better chance, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Take each one, knock it off, behave yourself. Don't pull here. Don't do this. Be a respectful gentleman. Get them individually good, and then put them together once you hand them individually to the owner, and then shut the door and run. Yeah, it's just a hard one. I mean, I'm being light about it, but it's a hard one when you're trying to make something happen and owners aren't doing the work, because that's where it has to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And one bonus question. This is from Jeff Stacy. Hi, Sean and Laura. Thanks for the Q&A Saturdays and for making them available via podcast so we can all take them on the road. Love the combo of education and entertainment. I call it edutainment. Genius. Two-part question regarding my 4-year-old adopted 45-pound pit. Part 1. When saying no as part of a correction and you don't happen to have your e-collar transmitter in hand or leash in reach, is it always a calm no, or is amping up the volume intensity appropriate or ever useful? Seems it may be counterproductive given the added energy emotion and could bleed into the verbal component with no physical consequence. That's part 1. Part 2, I've been adding duration work to our daily routine. We're now 7 days in and she's still often reluctant with down when it's linked with place and starts to shake when in a structured downstay. Normally she'll hit the deck with no problem and quickly when asked to down as a random command. She knows all 3 commands clearly, and when she breaks the downstay, her move is always the low and slow slink away. I'm seeing improvement, but at this point, are the times she is slow to comply something she should be corrected, or just keep doing the reps and continue to let it build? I know many components of training take time, but I want to make sure we're getting the maximum value from the exercise. I do correct for breaking a stay and put her back in position. She has solid heel crate training thresholds and always had to wait for food, etc. Shout out to head trainer Britt and you, Laura, for helping us in one session snuff out what's been a year-long leash reactivity problem by adding the e-collar to the toolkit. Go, nice. Britt.
Nice.
Got so inspired by your and Gelman's stuff that I just signed up for T3 launch. Look
wow.
forward. Yeah, you know that, right,
wow.
Jeff? Yep. Looking forward to learning even more.
Cool. Wow.
So,
you'll get some good stuff. That's great.
He's destined to be an amazing trainer.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, let me see if we can just jump through this kind of quick because I know we're running out of battery.
Yeah, part 1.
Okay, so part 1, you want to answer that question?
Just part 1 is, you don't want to raise your voice. And if you are having to correct and you don't have your tool close by often, that's a problem. Let's get that, let's get a clip or a belt clip or something on your e-collar. You don't want to feel frustrated. You don't want your dog to gamble or get collar wise or, only when he has that yellow thing in his hand do I behave. No, we don't want that. So always correct. Always have some way to correct, and don't raise your voice. It's not going to help. Like you assumed, it's just going to add bad stuff to it.
So raising your voice just adds fuel to the fire. Will freak a dog out. If the dog's going to make a choice, it'll make a worse choice.
Yeah.
It'll clutter its mind and make it hard for it to process and successfully complete what you're trying to get them to complete. So think of your no as just information, right? Oh, you did something wrong. You mark it, and then if it takes you a minute to get to your e-collar, it's fine. You've marked the behavior. You walk over, correct. Your dog goes, oh crap, I did something wrong, and here comes the correction. So keep that voice nice and neutral. The only time I allow excitement or change of demeanor in your markers or commands is when we're trying to create different motivation, either slowing a dog down or creating more stuff. But when we're correcting, I find just neutral is the way to go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
So that's first part. Part 2. Lay it on me, lady.
Oh, part 2 I already read to you.
I know, but just refresh me.
Oh, okay.
Memory is a porous thing.
Okay. Part 2 is she's reluctant when down when linked to place. So if she's just given down normally, then she's great. But if all 3 commands, I think when things are together, she's slow to comply and will slink away once she's broken and blah, blah, blah.
Right. So there could be a couple things going on. And when I read your question, one of the things I'm thinking about is I'm wondering if you said she's kind of been a nervous, slinky girl. I'm wondering if maybe she's feeling a little too much pressure. I'd be really cautious about enforcement and accountability
Right.
and doing them right, but doing them in a very appropriately soft manner for your specific dog. So I can't see your dog, I can't see what's happening, but what it sounds like is that place, even though she'll down, sorry, battery stuff, even though she'll down independently of place pretty well, place has probably become something she's a little bit concerned about, a little bit uncomfortable with. So I don't know if corrections were maybe a little bit too firm, and she's worried about it, and so now she's locking up. That could be something like that. I would see about making sure, and just because your question about like elevating like corrective tone and things like that, I mean that, like, I don't know, maybe that's happened in the past, and if you've got a sensitive dog, that kind of stuff is actually more impactful and more undermining than even a physical correction. So I'd be really cautious about that, and I'd really do some self-auditing about how are my interactions looking. What I'd really like it to be is like, place, good. Dog breaks, no, and just the right amount of pressure for your dog to care about it, and then go back to place. Don't change your tone, don't get intense, don't get frustrated. Stay neutral as possible with that stuff, and just be really cautious that you're making sure you're not trying to demand too much. Yes, we want this exercise and we want these reps, but we also have to be careful. The kind of pushing and demanding and accountability and harder pressure is really valuable for some dogs. And it's also really counterproductive for other dogs.
Yeah.
So you have to, that's where the real discernment and the magic of the dog training part of this comes in, as far as reading that dog and then reading what's appropriate pressure to help that dog be successful. And so if she's slinky and uncomfortable, I might take it down a little bit. I might just ease up with everything a little bit. Doesn't mean let her off the hook, but I might ease up a little bit and see if you can get her into a happier space. You know, maybe even bring some food out for place and kind of just make it a little bit lighter. And inevitably, the place command and the down should start to mellow out and get easier as the dog just gets more comfortable with it. But what I assume is that it's become a little bit of a worrisome thing for her, and so now she's being a little locked up with the down state. Because typically on place, dogs will down easier because it's soft and cushiony. So it's unusual that your dog is doing the reverse, which makes me just a little bit concerned that maybe it's been just a little bit too
quick,
heavy.
maybe too quick,
too heavy. And not accusing you of doing anything hard, but it's just like some dogs are really, really soft, and they need accountability delivered in a different way. So that's kind of your job, is to really tune in with that and not just look for like a place command result, but look for, how do I help this dog with this particular state of mind be successful? And being successful doesn't mean just staying on place. It means that the dog is also comfortable and understanding and not overwhelmed and all that good stuff. So that's my best answer for that. I hope that one helps. You can ask me even more at T3. And
Yay!
in
2 weeks.
And jump into it.
Yay.
You can be at the T3.
Yeah,
and
he's coming right up.
Far out, man. Bring your
It's
snow
awesome.
boots, buddy.
He's out there. He's
And
actually in
snowshoes.
Massachusetts right now.
Oh, God. So he's like,
he's well
so he's
aware.
laughing at us.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
Bring your snow boots. Okay, cool. Okay, guys, we're back.
What?
And we're better than ever.
It's
we just
dark
had
now.
to take a quick break.
Quick break.
For some training and to update batteries or charge batteries, but we really are just closing this out. Last week's question was, what's the biggest takeaway you've had from Q&A Saturday? And we had some amazing responses from Janine Churchwell on Instagram, Joanne Treadway, Jordan Brown. So many people just wrote in and said great things. It was so awesome.
Yay.
The one that I'm going to highlight is from Candace K. Candace says, "Thank you, Sean and Laura. You're really the greatest." I'm not highlighting it because of that, but it's part of it.
That's all she said.
She says, "I could literally write pages on how much you've helped transform me into being a better dog owner and much happier person. Besides answering my questions and helping me understand that it's just dog training, my biggest takeaway from this Q&As was back in the beginning of December when someone asked you about personal development recommendations. I've been meaning to tell you, but seriously, my life will never be the same again.
Wow.
I listened to Darren Hardy's Barcelona speech many times, and because of that, I bought some books for myself this past Christmas. Already this year, I've read The Go-Giver and Why You're Dumb, Sick, and Broke.
Wow.
I've also started reading Shut Up, Stop Whining, and Get a Life,
Nice.
which is a great one.
Those are all solid
those
books.
Are killer books.
Those books that you just referred to are
Game
those
changers.
three were like pivotal game changers for me when I was getting myself together.
Not to mention the domino effect that all of this has had. I haven't missed a Darren daily this year.
Nice.
I've started getting up between 5 and 6 a.m. I love Brendan Burchard and just got his book Motivation Manifesto. I found E.T., who I'm not sure who that is. E.T.?
Oh, that's Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle.
Or
No, I knew it wasn't that one. Of whom I love, and his new season of TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. No, I don't know. It's really exciting, so we got to look into that. That's awesome. Okay. The beast inside of me has been unleashed, and I'm seriously starting to kick some major life butt.
Wow.
My whole reality has changed for me and for my dogs. I'm in such a better headspace while walking them, so we're really improving. I've been asked multiple times if I'm a dog trainer. What? Plus, now I even get compliments on how well behaved my dogs are. I'm still working. Sheev said what? I'm still working on leash reaction issues, but oftentimes people can't even tell anymore because I know what I'm doing and I feel so confident while doing so. I used to have uncomfortable situations with other people every time I walk my dogs, but it's starting to change and be less common. Plus, I'm realizing that when people do get frustrated with us for leash reacting issues, it's usually just because of their own personal problems or they're bothered by the perceived inconvenience of me. So I am learning not to take this personally and to instead just think of these people as dog owners with road rage. So I give them space and let them get on their way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm forever grateful.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's something that, we can't really say thank you for because we're just so grateful that we were able to provide any sort of help for you in any sort of way. Sean and I have both had pretty intense personal development journeys, which I'm sure you've read about Sean's and stuff, but maybe not enough. Maybe that'd be something that we could bring up in the future. But, our lives have changed for the better. The better is an understatement, just from books and stuff, just enriching our lives with new stuff. And
the rate of change is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing the same thing. That when you really do consistent personal development stuff, and a lot of people have a weird thing with personal development.
And
have
hocus pocus.
And a bunch of, kind of dodgy stuff. But the stuff that you listed is all solid awesomeness. It's all just basic fundamental life principles about how to win at life, how to do life well, how to have integrity, how to move through this world and be generous and what that causes and what it attracts back to you. And it's so not hocus pocus. It's so tangible, just real life great stuff.
Good stuff.
And I know for me, I was in a pretty bad space, and those books, several that you listed along with a few others, were absolutely pivotal to me turning things around and starting my business and being able to help other people. And so for us, and then I dumped a bunch of books on this girl, and I was like, you got to read all these and listen to stuff, and Jim Rohn and things like that. And
literally changed my whole life. I mean, the whole thing, starting out dog training, with Sean and starting out working with him was one thing, and then he started leading me down the path of some of this other stuff, and it's completely transformed my whole entire life. And
my cult is coming together.
No, I love hearing the story of other people doing the same, because you're really just taking control of what you've already got going on. So it's just really exciting for us. And dog training specifically provides a good kind of inlet to that, because you get to work with your dogs that are providing something that's very tangible that you have to work through.
Constant feedback and the emotional triggers and voids that they fill for us. There's few things such as living with dogs that you have issues to work on that provide as much kind of value and a mirror and possibility for daily transformation, especially if you have frustration issues or things like that, you know. So
patience.
Those are all very intimately familiar with. So that's really, really special. And you know, we talk about dog training most of the time, but in our T3 Train the Trainers seminars, a large portion of what we teach is really based on, if you want to create a successful life and a successful business, that it's about far more than the mechanics of having these certain skill sets and tools to be able to train dogs. It's about being the best human being that you can be, and that how everything in life really ripples out from that place. And I don't think that gets talked about enough. So we're pretty big on this tip, and you know, we've been talking about incorporating a little bit more of this into this. Into the Q&A Saturday, and finding cool ways to maybe add some, you know, some help for people that you know, like we were just saying, because it doesn't get talked about, because it's kind of taboo,
like, weird, like
a lot of people that need it never get to talk about it, and so
and a lot of people that have really good stuff going on think like, okay, well, I don't really need that. But I think what it does, I'm going to correct this stuff.
Yeah.
Finish my thought.
Sorry. We're training with Paxi here, who's a really fearful dog who just came in a couple days ago. So we're just in the beginning stages. And Laura is working. There you go. Nice. So we're working and training. So I'm sorry, I couldn't.
So yeah, just the you know, people that don't necessarily have the concrete tools on how to use stuff, or maybe have good things going on, but don't necessarily aren't consistent with their thoughts. They kind of go up and down. That was kind of in the position that I was in, finding great books to kind of make it so it doesn't matter what's going on in your life, you're still doing pretty good.
Yeah. So. Awesome. And that Darren Hardy Barcelona is such a great video. It's so fantastic.
That's so cool, Candace.
Glad you dropped into that one.
Yeah, super happy for you.
Yeah, really excited. Keep us posted.
Yeah,
I mean,
please.
Honestly, you know, we love people doing well with their dogs, but it's pretty hard to beat people doing well with their lives.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really exciting stuff for us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
All right.
And so for question of the day,
of the week.
Question of the week. Sorry. Two questions. One, what video would you most like to have us shoot? What video would you most like to see that we haven't already done? And I know I've asked this in the past, and I probably have been a bad guy and not been able to get around to getting those videos filmed because we probably got really busy. So my apologies. But I'm going to ask it again. What would be the video you'd most like to see? And then how about this? Would you guys like to have anything, any personal development component added to this? Nothing like overbearing or like the 10 commandments of personal development. But just if you'd like, you know, add a book like recommendation,
book of the week, or like quote of the day, or something along those lines,
or anything that we've kind of found profoundly helpful, or even a video recommendation. I mean, you can watch a video and it can change your life. I mean, it's simple as that. So love to hear from folks what they think about those two things. What video do you want to see from us that would be helpful for you and your dog? And would you like to have a little, like, just personal, a little taste, a little bit more personal development, a little help, some of the stuff that we do a lot of training with other people in other facets. So it's not just like we're like, hey, let's do a personal development thing. We actually do it for a living. So so if you're interested, let us know in the comments. And we love you guys, and we appreciate you guys so much. And we're so happy that this show has been helpful for people. And I don't think we had any idea the impact that it would be giving. So we're really excited. And once again, this is last episode of Ghetto Style Q&A. We're moving on up, as they would say in the Jeffersons, to the east side. And we're going to have a deluxe camera in the sky. And maybe even a fancy microphone and some other stuff. So see if we can pretty ourselves up and give you guys an even better experience. So thank you so much. And we will see you next week.
Week.
We're out.
Peace.